Trans, non-binary Florida teachers file lawsuit against anti-pronoun law. 3 Florida educators have filed a federal lawsuit over a new state law that prevents transgender or non-binary public K-12 teachers from using their pronouns. Under a provision of the law, which took effect in July, teachers may not, quote, provide to a student his or her preferred personal title or pronouns if such preferred personal title or pronouns do not correspond to his or her sex. And it defines sex as based on someone's reproductive organs at birth. Those in violation could face revocation or suspension of their teaching certificate or other penalties. Plaintiffs are current and former Florida public school teachers who simply wanted to teach math, science, and their other school subjects of expertise, says the 61-page complaint filed Wednesday. But earlier this year, Florida enacted a new law that pushed one plaintiff out of their teaching career and threatens to do the same for the other plaintiffs and for the other transgender non-binary teachers like them across Florida. The plaintiffs are Hillsborough County high school teacher Katie Wood, a Lee County teacher using the pseudonym Jane Doe, and a former Florida virtual school teacher, Avi Schwandes, who was terminated for violating the law after using gender-neutral pronouns. How can you... Okay, they is a general pronoun that you can use for anyone, okay? It doesn't matter. Especially when you're unsure. I feel like that's a good safety net there for you, is the they safety net. They're being represented by Southern Poverty Law Center and law firm Altshuler-Burzen. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't have time to look up pronunciation of these obscure law firms. Anyway, many teachers have already left the profession and the state in response to discriminatory laws Florida passed to push LGBTQ+ people out of public life and erase their existence, the SPLC said in a press release. Those sued include Florida Department of Education, as well as members of its Education Practices Commission and State Board of Education. Also named are the Florida High School Board, the Florida Virtual School Board of Trustees, and the school boards for Lee and Hillsborough counties. Oh my God, I hate that guy. I really hate that guy. Ron DeSantis. Isn't he the guy that, like, can't smile? Oh, hang on. Hang on, I want to look up the meme. Okay, here we go. This one. Like, I have an excuse. My jaw was broken. This guy doesn't have any excuse. Ron DeSantis also tortured people at Gitmo. Confirmed. I'm not even going to look into that. I'm just going to already say confirmed. Why does he smile like that? What is wrong with him? Is he insecure about his bottom teeth or something? That's probably like the best looking one. It just looks so bad. Look, it's just like, Okay. Okay. Anyway. Spokespeople for the defendants did not immediately respond to requests for comment. There is no American right more fundamental than freedom of expression and protection from the government that weaponizes their disagreements on that expression, Wood said in a statement. As a human being living in America, I demand to be treated with fairness and equity at work. Those who support and enforce this law are trying to take my voice away and bury my existence. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Florida is asking for the teacher pronoun provision to be blocked. Teachers say it violates the Civil Rights Act, the First Amendment, the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, and federal Title IX law, which protects people from discrimination based on sex in education programs or activities that receive federal financial assistance. Oh, that feel when your bigotry causes federal issues for your state. And gets rid of the funding that they had. So here's the complaint in its entirety, I suppose. I'm not going to read the entirety of this. I think 61 pages is far too long for me to focus on something like this. But let's skip through. Let's just go ahead and read this preliminary statement. Plaintiffs are current and former Florida public school teachers who simply wanted to teach math, science, and their other school subjects of expertise. But earlier this year, Florida enacted a new law that pushed one plaintiff out of their teaching career and threatens to do the same for the other plaintiffs and for other transgender and non-binary teachers like them across Florida. That new law, subsection 3 of Florida statutes 1000.071, subsection 3, provides that an employee or contractor of a public K-12 educational institution may not provide to a student his or her preferred personal title or pronouns if such preferred personal title or pronouns do not correspond to his or her sex. Subsection 3 discriminates against transgender and non-binary public school employees and contractors on the basis of sex by prohibiting them from using the titles and pronouns that express who they are. Subsection 3 requires plaintiffs to shed their titles and pronouns at the schoolhouse gate because they are not the titles and pronouns that Florida prefers for the sex it deems them to be. Florida has the power to revoke the educator certificates of teachers who violate subsection 3, and school boards are able to dismiss violators. Subsection 3 violates the Constitution and the laws of the United States. It unlawfully discriminates against plaintiffs on the basis of sex in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, because whether plaintiffs may provide to students a particular title or pronoun depends entirely on plaintiff's sex, and Florida only has an invidious, I don't think I've ever heard that word used before. We'll look that up here in a minute. Invidious basis, not an exceedingly persuasive or even a rational one, for discriminating in this harmful way. It also unconstitutionally restrains plaintiff's speech in violation of the Free Speech Clause of the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, because it prohibits plaintiffs from using the titles and pronouns that express who they are, the same way their colleagues do. Through subsection 3, Florida has stigmatized plaintiffs, threatened their psychological well-being, upended the respect that is owed to them as educators, and that is necessary for a safe workplace and functioning classroom, and put their professions and families' well-being on the line. Florida statute must give way to the Constitution and the laws of the United States and must not be enforced. That's a really compelling argument. I mean, you would think if a state violates the Constitution that, I don't know, there would be consequences for that.